proudly serving the people of this community since 1918. Service is our motto. The poor, the rich, the middle class and all are given the best of care and attention at all times. You have the privilege to select what you want. In your time of need, contact the capable, the competent, and the dependable staff of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home who is genuinely concerned with your care. At Jwwilliams Funeral Home, you are aptly served by the proprietor president, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, who continues the traditions and values set forth by the past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams. Your announcers for the Jwwilliams Funeral Home Sunday morning program are Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Reverend Isaac H. Owens, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, Minister Frankie Harmon, Ms. Sandra Johnson, and Deacon Earl Clark, Jr.
Thank you, and good morning, friends. We come to you this morning to bring announcements, dedications, and songs. We certainly hope that your day may be brighter after listening to our program. The family of Mr. Sidney West of Ashburn, Georgia. The family of Mrs. Ella Ree Lockhart Green of Hampton, Georgia, formerly of Americus, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for the food, the flowers, the condolences, and all other expressions of sympathy and kindness shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. Mr. Sidney West, age 68, of 5245 U.S. Highway 41 North, Ashburn, Georgia, died Thursday, February 13th, at the 10th Regional Hospital in Tifton, Georgia. The funeral service for Mr. Sidney West, age 68, was held Saturday, February 22nd, in the sanctuary of the Greater St. Luke Baptist Church in Ashburn, Georgia. The Reverend Samuel Gaines, pastor, his beloved brother, Apostle Daniel Joseph West, officiated. His beloved brother, Bishop Dr. Arthur West, delivered the eulogy. The burial followed at the Westview Memorial Garden in Ashburn, Georgia. Survivors include his loving and devoted children, Mrs. LaToya Foster and her husband, Deacon Margot Foster of Castleberry, Florida, Miss Sierra M. West of Orlando, Florida, and Mr. Cedric Dean West of Panama City, Florida. 7 beloved grandchildren, his loving sisters, Mrs. Barbara Brown and her husband, Mr. Ivory Brown of Alapaha, Georgia, Elder Trudy Parham and her husband, Elder Claudia Parham of Ashburn, Georgia, Mrs. Geraldine Smith and her husband, Mr. Corey Smith of Valdosta, Georgia, Mrs. Dolores Clark and her husband, Mr. Sammy Clark, and Mrs. Mary Polk and her husband, Mr. Charles Polk of Ashburn, Georgia, Minister Victoria Farr and her husband, Mr. Benjamin Farr of Jacksonville, Florida. His beloved and devoted brothers, Bishop Dr. Arthur West and his wife, Elder Lorraine West of Araby, Georgia, Deacon Albert West and his wife, Mrs. Brenda West of Cordele, Georgia, Mr. Ruben Jean West and his wife, Mrs. Minnie West of Columbus, Georgia, and Apostle Daniel Joseph West and his wife, Mrs. Tawana West of Tallahassee, Florida. His beloved aunts and uncles, Deacon Johnny Simmons and his wife, Mrs. Annie Simmons of Cordele, Georgia. Deacon James B. Simmons of Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Herbert West of Dallas, Texas, and Mrs. Mamie Jackson of Albany, Georgia. A host of beloved nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends, to include a special friend, Miss Margaret Teague of Ashburn, Georgia. Survived Mr. Sidney West, age 68, of 5245 U.S. Highway 41 North, Ashburn, Georgia. Mrs. Ella Reed Lockhart Green, age 80, of 1153 Oak Holland Lane, Hampton, Georgia, formerly of Americus, Georgia, died Saturday, February 8th, at a residence in Hampton, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Ella Reed Lockhart Green, age 80, was held Saturday, February 22nd, in the sanctuary of the Restoration Church in Americus, Georgia. The pastor, Overseer Caleb Edge, delivered the eulogy. Bishop George Edge officiated. The burial followed at the Eastview Cemetery in Americus, Georgia. Survivors include a beloved son, Mr. Jacabius Lockhart, her beloved caregiving niece, Miss Valerie Forrest, her beloved children, Azer, Amaryl, and Jakari, all of Americus, Georgia, her loving and devoted sibling, Mrs. Ola Baisden, Mr. Leonard Lockhart, Mrs. Annie Ruth Taylor, and Mr. Robert Lockhart, all of Americus, Georgia. Her special nieces, Miss Linda Berry, Miss Sheila Terry and her husband, Mr. Tom Terry, Mrs. Ethel Lewis and her husband, Mr. Willie Lewis, Miss Carissa Mann, Mrs. Jalen Boyce and her husband, Mr. Ryan Boyce, Miss Jasmine Bounce, her special nephew, Mr. James Mann, her special grandchildren, Master Legacy Brown, Master Jacquea Lockhart, a host of other nieces, nephews, including the devoted niece and nephew, Mrs. Martha Sapp, and Mr. Emmanuel Hopper, a host of other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends, to include Mr. Corey Carter, Miss Sidney West, Miss Alicia Williams, survived Mrs. Ella Reed Lockhart Green, age 80, of 1153 Oak Holland Lane, Hampton, Georgia, formerly of Americus, Georgia. Again, the family of Mr. Sidney West of Ashburn, Georgia, the family of Mrs. Ella Reed Lockhart Green of Hampton, Georgia, formerly of Americus, Georgia, would like to thank their many friends for all of the many kindnesses shown to them during their hours of sorrow and bereavement during the past week. May God bless each of you, is their prayer. The Jwwilliams funeral directors, serving Cordele and Vienna, were in charge of each of these arrangements during the past week. And now, it is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcements. Miss Denaya Lachey Askew, age 25, of 1366 Pinehurst Hawkinsville Road, Pinehurst, Georgia, died Friday, February 14, at the Wellstar Medical College of Georgia in Augusta, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted father, Mr. Darren Askew of Unadilla, Georgia, her devoted aunt and caregiver, Mrs. Dorothy Bryant of Pinehurst, Georgia, her beloved sisters, Miss Monica A. Askew of Pinehurst, Georgia, Miss Deasia Askew of Unadilla, Georgia, Miss Mason Askew, and Miss Madison Askew, both of Ironville, Georgia. Her beloved brothers, Mr. Darren Askew Jr. of Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Nikiva Bryant and his wife, Mrs. Nancy Bryant of Elko, Georgia. Her beloved god brother, Mr. Castovian Thomas Jr. of Vienna, Georgia. Her loving grandparents, Mrs. Bertha Minor of Unadilla, Georgia, and Mrs. Aletha Askew of Cordele, Georgia. Her beloved aunts, Miss Demeron Crane of Vienna, Georgia, Miss Joyce McKenzie, Miss Shanice Daniels, and Miss Crystal Whitehead, all of Unadilla, Georgia. Mrs. Margaret Shealy and her husband, Mr. Otis Shealy of Oglethorpe, Georgia. Miss Sharon Bembry of Warner Robins, Georgia. Miss Kimberly Askew of Cordele, Georgia. And Miss Ernestine Newell of Atlanta, Georgia. Her beloved uncles, Mr. Lynn Thomas and his wife, Mrs. Jean Thomas of Unadilla, Georgia, Mr. Mike Daniels of Warner Robins, Georgia, Mr. J.C. Daniels Jr. and his wife, Mrs. Mary Daniels, and Mr. Bryce Daniels and his wife, Mrs. Pamela Daniels of Cordele, Georgia, Mr. Dion Daniels of Vienna, Georgia, Mr. Troy West and his wife, Mrs. Frida West of Unadilla, Georgia, Mr. Charlie Askew and his wife, Mrs. Betty Askew of Perry, Georgia, and Mr. Sean Robinson of Atlanta, Georgia. A host of beloved cousins, other relatives, and many, many sorrowing friends survive. Miss Denija Lachey Askew, age 25, of 1366 Pinehurst Hawkinsville Road, Pinehurst, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Denija Lachey Askew, age 25, will be held today, Sunday, February 23rd, at 2 p.m. at the Dooley County K-8 School in Pinehurst, Georgia. The Reverend Jerry Sanders, pastor of the Bethlehem Baptist Church of Doolin, Georgia, will officiate. The burial will follow at the Pleasant Valley Baptist Church Cemetery in Pinehurst, Georgia. Miss Shakori Fantasia Hamilton, age 20, formerly of Cordele, Georgia, died Monday, February 10th in Sandusky, Ohio. Survivors include her loving and devoted mother, Miss Mashanda Hamilton, her beloved and devoted father, Mr. Decory Mobley, her beloved sisters and brothers, Mr. Devaki Hamilton, Miss Alexis Hamilton, Miss Shadasia Mobley, Miss Summer Mobley, Mr. Decorian Mobley, Miss Decory Mobley, Mr. Decory Mobley, and Mr. Roger Beeks. Her loving grandparents, Mr. Walter Mobley and Mrs. Margaret Patrick Mobley, Mr. Donnie Hamilton, and Miss Mamie Lou Hamilton. A host of beloved nieces, nephews, aunts and uncles, many cousins, other relatives, and many sorrowing friends survive. Miss Shakori Fantasia Hamilton, age 20, formerly of Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Shakori Fantasia Hamilton, age 20, will be held Saturday, March 1st at 11 a.m. The Reverend Cecil Strouder, pastor of the Gethsemane Baptist Church, will officiate. The burial will follow at the Sunnyside Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. The location of the service will be announced at a later date. The public visitation will be Friday, February 28th from 1 until 5 p.m. at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. Mrs. Bernice Harris Darasol, age 90, of 1811 South 13th Street, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, February 22nd at her residence in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include her loving and devoted children, Mr. Eddie Mathis Jr. of Cordele, Georgia, Mr. James Mathis and his wife, Mrs. Melinda Mathis of Florida, Mr. Anthony Harris and his wife, Mrs. Beverly Harris of Cordele, Georgia, Miss Malika Moses Lawson and her husband, Mr. Derek Lawson, and Miss Latoya Moses Dawson and her husband, Mr. Nicholas Dawson of Cordele, Georgia. A host of beloved grandchildren, great-grandchildren, other relatives, and many sorrowing friends survive. Mrs. Bernice Harris Darasol, age 90, of 1811 South 13th Street, Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Bernice Harris Darasol, age 90, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. United States Army veteran, Mr. Lee Arthur Everett, age 64, of 313 West 22nd Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, February 22nd at his residence in Cordele, Georgia. Survivors include his beloved companion, Miss Mandy Searcy of Cordele, Georgia, his beloved children, Miss Nakira Everett and Miss Nakidra Everett, both of Cordele, Georgia, Miss Lakeisha Payne of Texas, 16 beloved grandchildren, 4 great-grandchildren, his beloved sisters, Miss Eloise Quarterman and Mrs. Mary Bryant and her husband, Mr. Eddie Bryant of Cordele, Georgia, his beloved brothers, Mr. Cedric Quarterman and Mr. Arthur Lee Quarterman of Cordele, Georgia, a beloved aunt, Mrs. Rosa Felton of Milledgeville, Georgia, a host of nieces, nephews, cousins, other relatives, and many sorrowing friends survive. United States Army veteran, Mr. Lee Arthur Everett, age 64, of 313 West 22nd Avenue, Cordele, Georgia. The Funeral service for United States Army veteran Mr. Lee Arthur Everett, age 64, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. The Jwwilliams funeral directors serving Cordele and Diana are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Friends, that conclude our funeral notices for this morning. And as always, we do remind each of you concerning our pre-funeral arrangements planning available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home, with packages available with a single pay, a 3-year pay, a 5-year pay, and a 10-year pay. So please stop by and talk with us concerning your pre-funeral arrangements needs available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. And also whole life insurance is available at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home.
Speaker. Dinner will be served. Sister LaChina Whitehead, Church Secretary. Deacon Wilbur Whitehead Jr., Chairman of Deacons. Brother Lucius Albritton Jr. is the pastor. The New Poplar Spring Baptist Church of Bonneville Black History Program will be today, beginning at 9:45 a.m. Mrs. Shanta Bowen, an educator of Bristol County School System, will be the guest speaker. Everyone is cordially invited to attend. Pastor teacher Johnny Dean is the pastor. The United Holiness Church of America's Pastoral Appreciation Service honoring Bishop Arthur J. Fulton will climax today. Worship service begins at 10 o'clock a.m. with Bishop George Edge as the speaker. Bishop Arthur Fulton is the pastor. The House of God Church of Plains, Georgia, first pastoral anniversary honoring Elder Anthony Jackson will be today, beginning at 1 o'clock p.m. Reverend Ben Carter of the House of God Church of Americas will be the guest speaker. Bishop Dr. Clary K. Butler Sr., Chief Overseer, Elder Anthony Jackson is pastor. The Friendship Baptist Church will celebrate the 36th anniversary honoring Bishop and First Lady Melvin McCluster today. Worship service begins at 10 o'clock a.m. with Henry Moore delivering the message. At 1 o'clock p.m., Reverend Larry Sims will deliver a message. Bishop Melvin McCluster is the pastor. The Union Grove Baptist Church of America's Black Heritage Worship Service will be today, beginning at 11 a.m. Everyone is invited to attend. Pastor Mathis and Linda Wright, pastors. Whole Truth International Ministries of America's Black History Program will be observed today, beginning at 10 a.m. Minister Caleb Green will be the guest speaker. Everyone is asked to wear old-fashioned attire. Overseer George F. Munch Jr. is the pastor. The Mountain Creek AME Church Black History Month Virtual Revival will be Tuesday, February 25th through Thursday, February 27th at 7 p.m. On program Tuesday will be Reverend Lavinia W. Coleman, Wednesday, Reverend Sherry H. King, and Thursday, Reverend Norris Harris. The dialing number is 945-218-0100. The access code is 436-6437. Again, the dial-in number is 945-218-0100. The access code is 436-6437. You may contact the pastor, Pastor Gerald Harris, for further information. The Ever Ready Spiritual Heirs 52nd anniversary will be on Sunday, March 2nd at 3 o'clock p.m. at the St. John Baptist Church in Leslie, Georgia. For more information, please contact Brother Anthony Deraso at 229-819-42 Brother Jesse Wash Jr. at 229-947-3747, or Brother Johnny Griffin Jr. at 229-947-2206. The Perry Grove Baptist Church of Leslie Men and Women's Day service will be on Sunday, February 2nd at 10 a.m. Deacon Darrell Walters and Sister Carolyn M. Kimbrough Owens will be the speakers. Reverend David Ham is the pastor. The St. Paul Baptist Church will host Family Diabetes Prevention Discussion in partnership with Morehouse School of Medicine, Albany Area Primary Health Care, and others. And this program, I believe, is passed. The Wilcox County Black History Festival, celebrating hometown heroes, will climax today, Sunday, February 23rd, with a gospel singing, which will be held at the Elizabeth Baptist Church, 3 o'clock p.m. For more information, please contact Brother Joe Hill at 229-313-9710. The St. King Baptist Church Black History Heritage Program will be Sunday, February 23rd, today, and it will begin at 10:15 a.m. Brother Cameron Haberbrook will be the guest speaker. First Lady Patricia Burnham is the clerk. Brother Joyce Daniels is the assistant pastor. Brother Woody C. Burnham is the pastor. A Moments in Black History Gospel Musical will be held Sunday, February 23rd, today, beginning at 4 o'clock p.m. at the Mount Calvary Baptist Church. Groups on program will be the Gospel Stars of Lilly, Georgia, the Gospel Travelers of Oakfield, Truly Blessed of Albany, Pastor Rosa Sanford of Court, Georgia, Next Level, and the Gospel Saints, and others. Reverend Isaac Owens is the pastor. Brother Norris Mathis' 18th Gospel Anniversary will be held today, beginning at 4 p.m. at the St. James Baptist Church. Our program will be the Gospel Travelers of Oakfield, Highly Favored of Warner Robins, the Jenkins Judy of Americas, Truly Blessed of Albany, the Chosen Voices of Montezuma, the Gospel Pioneers, the Gospel Stars, Bubba, and the Volunteers of Chester, Georgia. For more information, please contact Minister Gloria W. Mathis at 229-947-1516, or Brother Norris Mathis at 229-417-0034. The doors will open at 3 o'clock p.m. Brother Nelson Maynard, host pastor. You're cordially invited to worship at the Greater Mars Tabernacle Baptist Church today. Worship service begins at 9 o'clock a.m. with Sunday school, and the service will continue at 9:30 a.m. Everyone has a cordial invitation to attend. Mother Mary Henderson, Church Mother, Deacon Arthur L. Parker, Chairman of Deacons, Dr. Jwwilliams is the pastor. You're invited to worship at the Gethsemane Baptist Church today. Services begin at 10:30 a.m. Deacon Johnny Wilson, Chairman of Deacons, Brother Cecil Slaughter is the pastor. The New Oak Grove Baptist Church invites everyone to worship with him each Sunday for Sunday school at 9:15 a.m., worship service at 10 o'clock a.m. Deacon Alonzo Jones, Chairman of Deacons, Brother W.W. Wilson is pastor. You're cordially invited to worship at the Greater Gum Creek Baptist Church today. Services begin at 10:30 a.m. Mother Norma Solomon, Church Mother, Deacon Zachary Fields, Chairman of Deacons, Brother Joseph Hagerbrook is the pastor. The beautiful Zion Baptist Church extends a cordial invitation for everyone to worship with them today. Worship service begins at 11 o'clock a.m. Mother Donna Mae Childs, Church Mother, Reverend Lorinda Ray is the pastor. You're invited to worship at the Zion Hope Baptist Church today. Sunday school begins at 10:30 a.m., worship service at 11:30 a.m. Deacon Xavier Bryant Sr. is the chairman of deacons, and Willie James Belton is the pastor. You're cordially invited to worship at the Emmanuel Baptist Church. Sunday school at 10 o'clock a.m., worship service at 11:15 a.m. Bible study is held each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Mother Willie McGill, Church Mother, Reverend Gregory Williams is the pastor. You're invited to worship at the Mount Calvary Baptist Church today in celebration of Black History. Sunday school begins at 9:15 a.m., worship service at 10:45 a.m. with our guest speaker today will be Brother Kajarian Jones. Everyone has a cordial invitation to attend this presentation. Deacon Leon Spears, Chairman of Deacons, Reverend Isaac A. Owens is the pastor. As always, again, we would like to remind you if you have announcements or dedications that you would like for us to use on our Sunday morning program, we ask that you will get those announcements to us between Monday and Saturday before 12 o'clock noon. And then join us each Sunday morning for our regular program each Sunday morning here on the TV station beginning at 7 o'clock a.m. You may also join us on WDEC Radio 94.7 on the radio out of Americas on at 7:30 a.m. for our program that comes on at 7:30 to 8 o'clock a.m. And as always, you may join us on our Facebook page each Sunday or on our YouTube channel. Remember, if you have items that you would like to fax to us, you may fax them to us at 229-273-5111, or you may email them to us at info@jwwilliams.com, info@jwwilliams.com. And as always, you may drop them off at the funeral home before 12 o'clock noon on Saturday. We do ask that you would help us in that we might be able to present our announcements and dedications to you in a very orderly fashion. That concludes our announcements for this morning.
And now for dedications. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following in loving memory of Mr. Sammy Lee Epps, who departed life February 4th, 2006. Dedication requested by the Epps family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Brother Billy Joe Fagan, who departed this life February 20th, 1996. Dedication requested by his beloved children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and the entire Fagan family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Lily Mae Street, who would have celebrated her birthday February 21st, dedication requested by the Street family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Addie Reagan, who departed this life February 22nd, 1980, dedication requested by the Lawson and Addie family. Precious memory lingers still. In loving memory of Mrs. Gwendolyn Jones, who departed this life February 22nd, 1979, dedication requested by the Jones and Montford family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Miss Emma Odom, who departed this life February 23rd, 2017, dedication requested by the Odom family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Artis C. Epps, who departed this life February 24th, 1989, dedication requested by the Lawton and Epps family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Lois Carter, who departed this life February 24th, 2019, dedication requested by the Carter, Lawton, and Epps family, gone but not forgotten. In loving memory of Mrs. Miranda Hamilton Colbert, who would have celebrated her birthday February 26th, dedication requested by the Hamilton family and Mrs. Mary Frances Davis. Precious memory lingers still. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following. Happy 18th anniversary to Mr. Rico and Miss Angela Dempsey, who celebrated their anniversary Sunday, February 16th. Dedication requested by their beloved aunt, Miss Verdell Butts and family. Happy anniversary to Mr. Rico and Miss Angela Dempsey. God continue to bless your union and keep it strong. Happy 63rd anniversary to Mr. Willie and Mother Norma Solomon, who will celebrate their anniversary Thursday, February 27th. Dedication requested by the Solomon family and members of the Greater Gum Creek Baptist Church. Happy 63rd anniversary to Mr. Willie and Mother Norma Solomon. God continue to bless your union and keep it strong. Happy 54th anniversary to Dr. Dan James III and Sister Elaine James who will celebrate their anniversary Friday, February 28th. Dedication requested by the family and the members of the Mount Zion First African Baptist Church. Happy 54th anniversary to Dr. Dan James III and Sister Elaine James. God continue to bless your union and keep it strong. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to Miss Lois Reynolds, who will celebrate her birthday February 6th, celebrate her birthday February 16th. Dedication requested by her beloved family. Happy birthday to Mrs. Claudette Armstrong, who celebrated her birthday Tuesday, February 18th. Dedication requested by the Armstrong, Lawton, and Epps family. Special birthday wishes goes out. Happy 90th birthday to our dear beloved Mother Jessie Kate Harmon, who is celebrating her birthday today, February 23rd. Dedication requested by all of her children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and her entire family, and the members of the Church of God in Christ family, and the staff of the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. Happy 90th birthday to our own Mother Jessie Kate Harmon. Happy birthday to Miss Tommy Bianca Hunt, who is celebrating her birthday today, February 23rd. Dedication requested by Mr. Frederick Lewis and the entire family. Happy birthday to Mr. F.D. Lawton, who will celebrate his birthday Monday, February 24th. Dedication requested by the Armstrong, Lawton, and Epps family. Happy birthday to logistics specialist Leonore Walker, who will celebrate his birthday Monday, February 24th. Dedication requested by the entire family. Happy birthday to Miss Vivian Daniels, who will celebrate her birthday Tuesday, February 23rd. Dedication requested by her husband, the Daniels, Armstrong, Fullwood, Lawton, and Epps family. Happy birthday, Miss Nairobi Levant, who will celebrate her birthday Friday, February 28th. Dedication comes from her parents and the entire family. Special birthday wishes goes out. Happy 91st birthday to our beloved Mother Dorothy Shorter King, who will celebrate her birthday Tuesday, February 23rd. Dedication requested by her children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and the entire family. Happy 91st birthday to Mother Dorothy Shorter King, known as Miss Dot. Happy birthday and many, many more. Congratulations to the Reverend Donnie R. Hall Sr., who is celebrating 44 years in ministry and 43rd years of pastoring. Dedication requested by his beloved wife, his children, and the members of the New Provision Provisor Baptist Church. Congratulations to our friend and brother, the Reverend Donnie R. Hall Sr., who is celebrating 44 years in ministry and 43 years of pastoring. God bless you, the Reverend Donnie R. Hall. Continue lifting up and holding up the bloodstained banner. Our first selection this morning is dedicated to the following: Deacon James Smith and family, Deacon George Jordan and family of Vienna, Georgia, Deacon Jerome Jordan and family, Mr. A.J. and Mother Vera Rivers and family, Mr. and Mrs. Willie James Patrick and family, Deacon Johnny and Sister Vera Perry and family of Vienna, Georgia, Mother Mary Benjamin and family, Mother Carlton Wallace and family. Mr. Silas Ford and family, Mrs. L. Perry and family, Mother Mamie Robinson and family, retired educator Mrs. Elizabeth Waters and family, Brother James Leon Hughes, and the members of the Church of Christ at Hilltop, the Reverend Willie E. Lockett and Sister Helen Lockett and family of Albany, Georgia, Deacon and Mrs. Earl Lockett and family, Deacon William and Sister Robbie Durham and family, Deacon Eddie Byram and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Jeff Wilson and family, Deacon and Mrs. Frank Brown and family, Deacon and Mrs. George Lawrence and family, Deacon and Mrs. Charles Glenn and family, Brother and Mrs. Walter Edwards and family, Mr. Billy Wayne Edwards and family, Mrs. Christine Gaines and family, Mr. and Mrs. Leroy Bass and family, Deacon Emery Wright and family of Albany, Georgia, and Lee County, Georgia, and the entire Wright family. The Reverend Lorinda Ray and family, Mother Willie Mae Walker and family of Warwick, Georgia, Brother Keith Muntz of Americus, Georgia, who is recovering at the Emory Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia, and hope that he's doing well this morning. The Reverend Woody and Sister Patricia Barnum and the members of the St. King Baptist Church, Brother Willie Mae Leary and family of Hatley, Georgia, Mrs. Martha Ruth Westbrook and family of Araby, Georgia, Ms. Willie Mae Crapp and family, Ms. Patricia Horn and family, Cordell City Commissioner, Mrs. Vesta Bill Shepherd, and the entire Bill family, Ms. Mary Bill and family, Mr. John and Mrs. Mashonda Holmes and family, Ms. Edith Home Wilson and family, Mrs. Donna Patterson and family, Ms. Melody Patterson and family, Mrs. Marilyn Ray Hopper and family, Mr. Alfred Hopper Jr., Mrs. Martha Hubbins and family, Mrs. Deborah Hopper and family, Mrs. Louise Parker Royal and family, Mrs. Thelma Hopper and family, Mrs. Minnie Hopper and family, Mrs. Julia Hopper and family, Mr. James and Ms. Galen Bleach and family, Mr. Arthur and Mrs. Manny Pope and family, Elder Clarence and Mrs. Annie Johnson and family, Mr. Larry Appleton and family, Mrs. Jackie Williamson and family, Mr. Jack Reynolds and family, Mr. Willie Blunt and family, Mrs. Eleanor Ray and family, Minister Mrs. Robbie Williams and family, Mrs. Alma Johnson and family, Ms. Willie Mae Cobb and family, Mrs. Ernestine Gaines and family, Deacon Major Walker and family, Stuart Lonnie Barrett, and the entire Barrett family and the members of the Davis Chapel CME Church of Araby, Georgia, Ms. Linda Butcher and family, Ms. Eula Hamilton and family, Mr. Edward Butler and family, Mrs. Carolyn Bolden and family, the Reverend and Mrs. Charles Perry Jr. and family, Mrs. Anna Rowland and family, Ms. Virginia Williams and family, Mr. and Mrs. A.B. Levat and family, Mrs. Dorothy Rose Jones and family, Mr. Wayne Foster and family, Mr. Nicholas Johnson and family, Mr. and Mrs. Broccoli Johnson and family, Mr. and Mrs. Dwight Johnson and family, Mr. and Mrs. Cedric Johnson and family, Mr. and Mrs. Harry Fox and family, Elder J.C. and Minister Annette Clark and family, Mr. Robert and Mrs. Fannie Mae Polk and family, Minister Robbie and Mrs. Joanne Williams and family, Mr. James Reedy and family, Mr. Norris and Mrs. Gail Bembry and family, Mrs. Dolores Lamons and family, Mrs. Nancy Bryant and family, Mr. Joseph Bryant III and family, the Reverend Jolie Butts and family, Mrs. Rosa Colbert and family, Mrs. Janie Mae Miller and family, Elder Alice Mae McKenzie and family, Mrs. Frankie Lee Robinson and family, Ms. Daquita Hunt and family, Mr. Ernest Dawson and family, Mr. John Reese and family, Mrs. Barbara Adams and family, Mrs. Virginia Everett and family, Ms. Maddie Pope and family, Mr. Jeremiah Harvey and family, Mr. Louis Sanders and family, Mr. Quita Sanders and family, Mrs. Daquita Sanders and family, Mr. Curtis Williams and family, Mr. Keith and Mrs. Amanda Ford and family, Mrs. Beatrice Rutherford and family, Mr. Silence and Mrs. Doretha Dardale, and the members of the Big Bethel Baptist Church of DeSoto, Georgia, Mr. Jake Reese and family, and the entire Reese family, the Patrick family, Mrs. Janice Bush and family, the Perry family, the Relaford family, the Bryant family, the Jackson family, the Sumner family, the Oliver family, the Leggett family, Mrs. Jackie Lattimore and family, Mrs. Vivian Daniels and family, Deacon and Mrs. Odell Westbrook and family, Chairman Roger Westbrook and family, and the members of the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church of Hatley, Georgia, Jones family, Mrs. Mary Frances Davis and family, Mrs. LaShonda Donaldson and family, Mr. Justin Colbert Jr. and family, Miss Lavetta Fields and family, Miss Gwen Gaskin and family, Miss LaShonda Holmes and family, Deacon Joed Clark and family, Deacon Oscar Cook, Chairman of the Board of Deacons of the Friendship Baptist Church of DeSoto, Georgia. Our first selection for this morning. It is certainly with the deepest regret that we make the following announcements. Miss Denijah Lachey Askew, age 25, of 1366 Pinehurst, Hawkinsville Road, Pinehurst, Georgia, died Friday, February 14th, at the Wells Star Medical College of Georgia in Augusta, Georgia. The funeral service for Miss Denijah Lachey Askew, age 25, will be held today, Sunday, February 23rd, at 2 p.m. at the Dooley County K-8 School in Pinehurst, Georgia. The Reverend Jared Sanders, pastor of the Bethlehem Baptist Church in Newland, Georgia, will officiate. The burial will follow at the Pleasant Valley Baptist Church Cemetery in Pinehurst, Georgia. Miss Shakori Fantasia Hamilton, age 20, formerly of Cordele, Georgia, died Monday, February 10th in Sandusky, Ohio. The funeral service for Miss Shakori Fantasia Hamilton, age 20, will be held Saturday, March 1st at 11 a.m. The Reverend Cecil Strawder, pastor of the Gethsemane Baptist Church, will officiate. The burial will follow at the Sunnyside Cemetery in Cordele, Georgia. The location of the service will be announced at a later date. The public visitation will be Friday, February 28th from 1 until 5 p.m. at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home. Mrs. Bernice Harris Darasol, age 90, of 1811 South 13th Street, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, February 22nd at her residence in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for Mrs. Bernice Harris Darasol, age 90, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. The United States Army veteran, Mr. Lee Arthur Everett, age 64, of 313 West 22nd Avenue, Cordele, Georgia, died Saturday, February 22nd at his residence in Cordele, Georgia. The funeral service for United States Army veteran Mr. Lee Arthur Everett, age 64, will be announced at a later date, pending the completion of the arrangements. The Jwwilliams funeral directors serving Cordele and Vienna are in charge of each of these arrangements during this week. Our next and final selection for this morning is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones were laid to rest during the past week. The family of Mr. Sidney West of Ashburn, Georgia. The family of Mrs. Ella Ree Lockhart Green of Americus, Georgia. This selection is dedicated to the bereaved families whose loved ones will be laid to rest during this week. The family of Miss Denijah Lachey Askew of Pinehurst, Georgia. The family of Miss Shakori Fantasia Hamilton of Cordele, Georgia. The family of Mrs. Bernice Harris Darasol of Cordele, Georgia. The family of United States Army veteran Mr. Lee Arthur Everett of Cordele, Georgia. This selection is dedicated to all sick and shut-in, to all patients in the local surrounding hospitals, nursing homes, and rehabilitation centers, to our beloved ministers and our devoted family members, to all retired educators, to the men and women serving in armed forces, both stateside and abroad, to all veterans, and to everyone who listens to our program on each Sunday morning. It's a pleasure for us to bring it to you. Our program goes out in memory of our past president, Dr. Napoleon Williams, to my wife, Mrs. Calandra Wilkerson Parker, to my son, Jared Wilkerson Parker. This selection goes out to my brother, retired Chief Master Sergeant Norman F. Dexter, his wife, Dr. Gwendolyn Maxine Dexter, and grandson, Noble. This selection goes out to my sister, Mrs. Patsy Jackson, and her husband, Mr. Jim Jackson of Cordele, Georgia. To my niece, Mrs. Vera Mathis, and Mrs. Florine Mutfred Manning, and the entire Mutfred family, Deacon and Mrs. Sam Mutfred and family. This selection goes out to my nephew, Deacon Kenneth Smith, program chairman of the Greater Morris Tabernacle Baptist Church, and who's with us this morning recording our program to present to our Facebook watchers and YouTube channel there. Goes out to our pastor, Dr. K.M. Williams, to his wife, Sister Kathy Williams, and their son, the Reverend Christopher Williams, pastor of the Antioch Baptist Church of Cuthbert, Georgia. The selection this morning goes out to our dear friend and brother, long-standing, the Reverend Johnny Dean, pastor of the New Poplar Springs Baptist Church of Byronville, Georgia. To our brother, Deacon Jimmy Charles Montfrey, and his wife, retired educator, Mrs. Carol Montfrey, and to the members of the Crossroad Baptist Church's pastor, the Reverend Nelson Manor and his wife, and the entire Manor and Harvey family. Goes out to the mother of the church there, Mother Eileen Payne and family. This listen goes out to Deacon S. Martha A. Cross and family, the Honorable Juanita Kinchin, Mayor of the city of Warwick, Georgia, Brother Kelvin Pless of Americus, Georgia, presenting our song selections for this morning. Deacon Kelvin, Sister Rosemary Jones and family, Deacon Brother Leon Hawkins and his mother, Mother Milan Hawkins and family of Americus, Georgia, Mother Adeline Lofton and family, church mother of the Little Rock Baptist Church of Araby, Georgia. Our final selection for this fourth Sunday in February 2025. God bless each of you this morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning. We hope you've enjoyed our program. Tune in again on next Sunday morning. And remember, in your time of need, contact the competent, capable, and dependable staff at the Jwwilliams Funeral Home.